one thing was for sure. They both believed Sparks to be a total tool.
Be an exciting contest which shows that divorced couples can still have fun together, right?
Mythological hero H-list. C. On the spot dice spin.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Hello everyone, Cindy Settleman here from Game Show Garbage, and this is a little special video that we're going to do right now. It's a special Q&A on Facebook, on my personal Facebook page, and on the Game Show Garbage Facebook page. I asked people to send me questions that they would like answered, whether it be about game shows or about the site in general. And so, all the questions are, well, right here. So we're going to get to them right now. Andrew Schroy asks, and he's got 5 of them, what are some game shows that you hate that everyone else loves? Easy. The Amazing Race. I cannot for the life of me understand The Amazing Race. Another game show that, it's technically called a game show, that I really just couldn't care less about. Sorry. Just been a tiring day while we filmed this. Another really good show that I honestly couldn't care less about, believe it or not, Millionaire. Especially the syndicated season. I just really couldn't care about Meredith Vieira or anything like that. So, next one is, how did you become a wrestling fan? Well, my mom was a big fan when she raised me many moons ago. She went to a lot of shows at the old Bicentennial Arena. She always used to recall a match between Roddy Piper and Playboy Buddy Rose, when Playboy Buddy Rose was pretty much rose-colored after the match was over. It was a steel cage match, pretty much the feud ender. And hearing those stories and just watching a bunch of WWF and WCW back in the day, it was a really good time. And I still enjoy it to this day, even if Raw is complete shit. What are your favorite foreign versions of any US game shows? Oh, I love the UK versions of Gladiators. I also love the UK version of Strike It Rich, or Strike It Lucky over there. When it comes to Australia, I love their version of Sale of the Century. I also like their version of The Price is Right with Larry Emdur. Also in the UK, I also like Bruce's Price is Right and Play Your Cards Right. Basically, any US show adapted with Bruce Forsyth as host is a really good show. Aside from wrestling, what other sports do you enjoy? Well, I enjoy baseball quite a lot. I try to go to a lot, or as many games as I can, given the tight budget that I have. And what is your favorite movie that you have seen? I'll give you 2 of my favorite movies. Rain Man, starring Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. And I also really enjoy The Shawshank Redemption with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. However, Glengarry Glen Ross is really starting to climb up there. Hunter Austin Williams asks, out of all the bad game shows you reviewed for Game Show Garbage, which of them is, in your opinion, the least awful of them all? That's tough. It really is. There's certain shows that just have a fatal flaw that ruins them. But for the 2 that I would sit through over again, one from the US is Nick Arcade. I would sit through Nick Arcade again, because I do kind of see the charm of Nick Arcade now, rather than when I did Inducted a couple years ago. And sticking on that same path from a couple of years ago, Golden Balls. I think the only thing that killed Golden Balls for me was the Prisoner's Dilemma Endgame, which I completely despise. Kyle White has a couple of questions. What is one game show you would like to see make a comeback? I was going to say Joker's Wild, but that is making a comeback, so I don't have to say that anymore. But I've kind of been on a kick of low-budget game shows making comebacks, or liking to see comeback. So I would go with the classic lifetime pairing of Supermarket Sweep and Shop to Drop. That would be a pairing I'd love to see come back. What are your guilty pleasure game shows? Well, I recently did a top 5 guilty pleasure game shows about a year and a half ago. I can't put it on YouTube because it's got Cutthroat Kitchen on it, and that's just an immediate copyright block thanks to Scripps Networks. But the top 5, if I remember correctly, was Cutthroat Kitchen at 5, Family Feud with Richard Karn at 4, College Madhouse at 3, Celebrity Bowling at 2, and Shop to Drop at 1. And yes, I am including the JD Roberto version on that. And what is a logo that scared you when you were younger? I guess watching USA, I guess it would have to be one of 2 logos. It would have to be the Hot Potato logo or the Wipeout logo. Because the Wipeout logo was used as a quote-unquote wipeout during the show. So since the logo and the wow wow sound effect did kind of scare me when I was about 5 or 6. Ryan Taylor asks, what do you believe a game show needs in order to be entertaining? In order for it to be entertaining, I think you need a really solid, simple game to follow along with at home. Like, for instance, Wheel of Fortune has an entertaining game. Spin a wheel, try to solve a puzzle, something that you can easily do at home. Jeopardy has the simple, they give you the answers, you have to come up with the questions. You know, stuff like that. Stuff that you can play along at home with a really good host to balance it all out. That is what you need to have an entertaining show. Like Double Dare with Mark Summers is really quite entertaining. You know, something along those lines. Sorry if I'm yawning. Andrew Elfe, or Elf, I don't know how you pronounce your last name. Will you bring back the game show Garbage Food Chain? It depends. Because we did have a couple food chains planned back in the day with Jim. And sadly he's no longer with us. May he rest in peace. But hopefully I would like to bring it back. But right now that's pretty much on the back burner in front of updating the website and trying to get everything situated for the next few months, because it's going to become June soon, so it's rainy season coming. Woody Belk asks, or suggests, I would nominate this Family Feud Fest Money clip from 1982, where both contestants gave ridiculously dumb answers that forced Richard Dawson to stop the clock. Name a beverage you stir before drinking. And the contestant says water, and that reminded Richard of the infamous September answer. These are his words, not mine. And name something parents buy for their kids going off to college. A toaster oven. Now that one's not a bad answer, because toaster ovens are really used on college campuses, even back in 82 or 83, because microwaves were still like $300-400, where a toaster oven was like about $30-40. To be honest, probably not. Maybe in a compilation, the beverage you still prefer drinking. That one will probably maybe in a compilation, but the toaster oven one, no way. Because I don't consider that a bad answer. Might have gotten 0 on the survey, but it's not a bad answer. Paul Reich asks, Will Bob Barker's phoning it in for his last few years hosting Price is Right get inducted? If I'm gonna do that one, I'm gonna have to do that with kid gloves. Because you know there are a lot of Bob worshippers out there on the game show pantheon, we'll say. We'll say possibly, but it's gonna take some digesting and figuring out the perfect timeline where Bob really start phoning it in. Dan Noble asks, what are your top 5 pricing games on The Price is Right? Okay, tough. This is legitimately tough because there's a lot of pricing games that I love. I love Temptation. My favorite cash game is Punch Bunch. I think Punch Bunch is one of the better cash games out there. If I was going to play a cash game, I'd rather play Punch a Bunch. Let It Roll, I think, is really good. There's just a lot of good ones that I really can't narrow it to 5. So there's 3 of them. Yeah, I really can't narrow it to 5. I'm sorry, Dan. But 3 that I'll absolutely go to bat for will be Temptation, Punch Bunch, and Let 'Em Roll. And Dice Game. Adam Shimon asks, do foreign language game shows such as Recuerda Llegada and El Juego de las Estrellas on Univision and Unimas, and Roda a Roda and Proconar y Radar on SBT interest you? In some cases they do, because I remember back in the day, like around 98, when it was 3:30 and I always would turn on Univision, and I would watch El Blablazo, which is this sort of silly trivia show with a puppet as a announcer, and they would play a game called Del Fuerte de Mucho Suerte, where they would spin the wheel and they would win like cash for a home audience member, anywhere between $100 to $1,000. So I guess it depends on the game and if they interest me or not. Finally, Ian McLinn. Which host do you think is worse? Rick Schwartz, Ian Jamieson, Willie Aames, Jeff Maxwell, or David McCreary? I'll do which one of these 5 I think is best and worst. David McCreary has shown recently on, I think it's, God, I forgot the name of the show. But after Make Me Famous, Make Me Rich, he did get better, so I'm going to put him 5. Willie Aames just didn't fit at all, so I'll give him a pass and put him in 4. Jeff Maxwell, 3. Because, yeah, Rick Schwartz, 2, because he was only given 3 episodes and was thrown into this situation. Ian Jamieson did it all to himself because he produced the show, so I'll put Ian Jamieson number 1. And that's it for the Q&A. I hope I answered everybody's questions that got submitted. And I think we'll do another Q&A in August to get ready for the Waynes. So if you would like to submit a question for the August Q&A, just leave a comment below or join our Facebook message group and ask me a question there. Until next time, bye-bye!